The new update added 5 new regiments to Regiments, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the 161st Motorized Rifle Division, a third echelon Soviet formation fighting with outdated T-62M tanks and BTR-60s. Its ranks are bolstered by freshly mobilized troops, numerous but underprepared. We'll also be checking out the new map, Bic and Flota, as well as the new game mode, Static Defense Mode. And if you haven't played Static Defense Mode, I would highly suggest either re-downloading Regiments, buying it, or just turning it on, because its Static Defense Mode is by far one of the best modes in the game at this moment in time, especially as we wait for new operations to be added. So we have the new map selected. We also have our division right here, the 161st Motorized Rifle Division, already selected. If we scroll down a little bit and we hover over it, we can see we'll get those T-62Ms, the BMP-2, BTR-60 with conscripts and AT. That's really good. And another BTR-60 with conscripts, as well as a Grad and some anti-air. Oh, we have like both missile guided as well as just gun and an artillery strike. That seems like a fairly decent formation, honestly. I'm not super worried about it, especially in static defense. I know the conscripts, they're probably just going to have like reduced range and maybe a little bit reduced morale. Like an HQ unit may boost them a little bit, but I'm not super concerned about their performance on the battlefield. But let's see how it's going to be. So we should be setting up a good defensive line. We have 2 entry points for NATO over here. Over here, we're just going to say north and north, so northeast, northwest. Here's our position down here on the south. We have this airfield we need to guard. There's also an avenue of high-speed approach right here. It goes through this town, so a little bit of cover for us, which is super beneficial. Not a lot of tree cover, so that's really, really, really interesting. And there's also not a lot of hills. Did you guys notice that on this map? We have one little hill right here. I mean, here's another avenue of high-speed approach. So there's definitely a lot of things. This is a really challenging map to like cover. So if we're stuck out in the open, we have a lot of clear lines of sight, but we don't have really any sort of way to slow them down. So what we could do, we could put barbed wire up and try and force them into like these towns a little bit, or in this roadway. Up here is going to be a bit questionable. Like, what's our line of sight? See, so they're going to easily be able to shoot through these trees. We can kind of position like an anti-tank element right here to just kind of shut this lane down. Over here is a bit better. I don't really see them like pushing. I mean, these trees would be better. It gives you cover. But then you have like this area right here where you could easily position anti-tanks right there. So let's do that. I think this is a good position for like an anti-tank. And we just like position it forward. That's good because it's going to like shut that down. So if they do come out of the woods right there, and then we kind of want to shut this down right here as well. So we're going to put an anti-tank right there. So if we click and we hold, oops. Let's grab another anti-tank. If it's going, oh, that's out of range. Just like that. So they can get in there and get a little bit nasty with us. We're going to set one right here as well. And just maybe have a bit of cover in this general area. And this is going to be a good position as well. So we're going to put an anti-tank in this tree line. And so that kind of shuts down this little angle that they can approach us from. Also, there's one over here. I mean, this is a bit dangerous, but really, like, they have to go through these trees, they have to go around this waterway, and they'd have to go really, really wide to get this position. What is this, Delta? So they really need to capture Charlie. I'm not sure if they can capture out of order. It doesn't look like it matters. So we're going to shut this down with some anti-tank, and honestly, we could even put, like, barbed wire right here and just be like, okay, well, you can't come this way at all because we have barbed wire. Remember, covering roads isn't really that important because the AI can just... There's really no slowing down. Like, the AI is like fast on the grass, he's fast on the road, and what really limits him is these trees. Same thing right here. We could build like a barbed wire fence to force him to breach, and that's going to allow our tank to engage them a little bit. Our AT's kind of facing the wrong direction. We have 47. This would cost, what would this cost? It would be fairly cost. And I'm going to put one on the road just because it's a bit like more immersive than you'd think it would be, and it would kind of just create these little funnels that are going to shut them down. So if they come through these trees, we have anti-tank, and if they come down here, they need to get in a column formation, and they'll be easily destroyed. Over here is a bit more complicated. I mean, I don't think the AI is going to prioritize the road or anything like that, so we could kind of barbed wire this objective right here, but I think I'm going to fortify it a bit. This is just a very wide open area, so barbed wire is not really super effective in my opinion. We do have anti-tank right there. We have 2 anti-tanks. We have this tree line. We can just mortar that. I'm not super overly concerned about it. Mortar emplacement, I would prefer anti-air. I want anti-air kind of forward. So let's set... I'm not sure what this radius of this anti-air is. If we're in a battle forward of this position, obviously we would want the anti-air up here with our position, but we're going to let it fall back, have it face forward. We have one anti-air right there. this is going to be a good defensive position, so we're going to set it right there. We have an anti-air right there. And then I think this is a good little position for anti-air as well. And then we'll just position our own anti-air. But I'm more enjoying the anti-tank. And then we can position another anti-tank if we really wanted to right here. If it lets us, it did let us. And then right here, we have 9 points left, so we'll just grab some barbed wire, and we'll just try and shut down some avenues of approach right here. So we know they're going to use this tree line, so we can just push in like, oh, barbed wire, barbed wire, barbed wire, barbed wire. Random barbed wire up here that they're going to have to contend with right there. And if they do try and approach right there, at least this tree line will be a bit covered. And obviously they can come wide and just go into the trees as well, but we can't cover everything. And then we'll do one right here. And that is our just basic defensive layout. So let's get these T-62s on deck first. We're going to put them up here in this tree line. That's probably the best spot for them. T-62s up here, forward in this town, probably the best spot for them. And then we have these BTR-60s. These have some anti-tank capabilities. I want them like just, ooh, that's an actual company of BTRs. More anti-air. How many more deployment points do we have? We could use a recon unit. This is a really weak anti-tank unit. So let's put our two. We're going to divide up our forces a little bit. We have 2 companies, and this BMP, probably the best. Let's get this Grad on the battlefield. Just short of that town. So that should be everything we need. And then a random BRDM. I don't feel like this recon vehicle is going to be super, super helpful. We'll position him over here. I'm honestly going to put him just kind of on. I guess we can pull everything on the battlefield, which is interesting. All right, so let's get started. Yes, we want to proceed. So the battle kicks off, and we have to get going. Let's get going. Hit space to fire it up. So there's a small little anti-tank right there. I believe that's us. We have this T-62M right here. Where's our BTR? Here's our BTR company. We're going to immediately dismount these guys. There's no reason for them to be mounted. What are they right now? Are they mounted or are they dismounted? They are. All right, they're already dismounted. That's fine. I mean, we may need, I don't know what their line of sight. Oh, they can see through that town, so that's fine. T-62, what's his line of sight right here? Really good. You can't really see past that town, which is unfortunate. This is kind of sketchy over here. We do have this recon unit. He is facing the wrong way, so we're going to reposition him. We have this BTR team next to this anti-tank. That looks to be the enemy. And I would still really prefer for these to be a different color. Like, I know they're smaller, but whatever. Let's assign our artillery to control 1. So 1's our artillery, and we have a new task force in 2 minutes. 19 minutes to go. Good small little static defense. Obviously, this position's really under-prepared, but we do have a T-62 platoon over there. And if they do go that way, we'll get like a notice, and they'll get slowed down a little bit by that barbed wire. All right, getting a little framey for some reason. Let's see. So we need to guard that for 175 points. We control 6 out of 6 positions. Our AAA's in a fairly decent spot, so if they do try and do some airstrikes, we should be fairly safe. If we like zoom out. All right, there's our first couple. Looks like they're approaching over here. Don't know what they are yet, and we easily begin engaging them with anti-tank. Our T-62 should engage them as well. We can like pause, see this absolute massacre that's about to happen right now. Where are these? These are, oh my god, those are Bradleys with toes. That's really, really dangerous. Let's see if we can, let's see what happens. Outstanding. This should shut them down. Ooh, that guy just got toe right to the side. Straight through that side armor. T-62's doing a good job. Looks like they're retreating. Smoke up. Bradley's falling back. Look how fast those guys are running, dude. They're like, don't leave me, don't leave me. And, oh, too bad that tree was right there. All right, that was a good little first engagement. So if we hit the eye, we can bring everything back up. Where's that tow missile going? Just short. All right, first wave easily defended. Nothing super to be concerned about right there. If anything, our Grad would have definitely have shut them down. Ooh, this anti-tank did take a lot of damage, though. Unfortunately, we can't really bring anyone on the battlefield. This is a surface-to-air SAM missile. We don't have a lot of AAA in this general vicinity, so I don't really think it's not beneficial to have him on the battlefield, but let's see what he does. All right, so I mean, obviously, like the guy just ran right. Oh my God, they're going right for it, the same line. All right, looks like they're Bradleys. Are they going through the water? I mean, we don't really need to do much. These Bradleys are going to get absolutely shredded by these tow missiles. That one popped a turret. All right, there's that retreat. Let's see what happens. Man. Flare is out. Ooh, they brought in an airstrike. All right, a little late. So I don't really agree with that airstrike timing. That wasn't really a good little combined arms approach by the AI. I mean, obviously they moved very, very quickly. This guy's going to get absolutely decimated. There's nothing we can do to fix that. That sucks. But they sent like 1, 2, 3 waves in, and then their fourth. We have a new task force available. So if we hit pause, we can see what this task force brings in. So you could bring in some Su-25s with some bombs. That should be good. We could focus on artillery and check out some of the newer units right here. That's a good little artillery piece. Or we could rockets. I don't think the rockets are very good in my opinion. Artillery barrage, Su-25, T-80s, and we could check out the new Mi-8s. You think, or the old Mi-8s? You think those would be fun? Or we could do a recon task force. I think longer term, like these HQ units would be much more beneficial, and we get an artillery unit with it, like the command group. And I think command group's really important, especially with the conscripts on the battlefield. But we don't really get anything beneficial or exciting. We get an HE smoke barrage. I don't think that's super needy. A mobile artillery, a BTR-60. I really want to check out these Su-25s and get this Grad, another Grad on the battlefield. And a mobile artillery. I don't really like that task force, but we're going to bring them in anyway. We could, if we want to, get this another BRDM. I don't think that's really super good to have on the field right now. It's just because there's, like, it only has a small little gun, and it's just going to spot some units for us, which, yes, is super beneficial. But at the end of the day, it's not going to do much for us long term. There's our AAA moving in. Let's zoom in, see what we can get with him. Watch him come onto the battlefield. Does it lock on? It does. A bit of a weird position. He's just going to drive through everyone. I mean, not a big deal. It is a video game. He's on the road. He's kind of on the road a little bit. Go through that house. Red car. Dude's like the size of a house, though. No one's on the battlefield yet. We're just taking a look around, looking at the map, kind of appreciating. Oh, there's a little church right there. All right, we have artillery. Let's pause. All right, where's that artillery coming from? It looks to be a mobile artillery. We might. Let's see where it's hitting. Is that fairly heavy? It's kind of scattered. Is that just like a random artillery barrage? I don't see that question mark anywhere on the field. And it's a bit off target. I mean, it's hitting that right there. So we could just pull up our Grad if we wanted to kind of deal with that. We could bring a mobile artillery up, which is really good for shutting down, like, approaching assaults. They're off target over there as well. I'm not sure what's going on with this artillery. It's kind of just all over the place. He is hitting the AI recon unit. There's not much we can do about that. We can't control that unit. So we can't bring anything on. I don't really want to bring this mobile artillery on. I think it would be fun to play with, but it's just not something I want to do right now. We'll bring in the Su-25s here in a second, and maybe even do an artillery strike. We have 2 of those. You could probably do both if we really wanted to. AI honestly is just trying to soften us up at this point. I really feel like it's like out of sync with itself, though. That artillery probably should have preceded their first attack, right? You do the artillery, then you bring in your 4 Bradleys, and then you support those Bradleys with some air. So I feel like it's a bit out of sync with itself, and there's an artillery unit right there. So we really wanted to shut this guy down. We could just call our Grad in. So if we pull him back, where is he at? Watch him do some work. Is he going to fire? There go the Grad missiles. Follow them in. Good little dispersion on those Grads. Kind of shutting everything down. I mean, right, just take out their grid square, call it a day. They're smoking, they're retreating. What are those, M113s? Yeah, it looks to be a mobile artillery with some M113 looking things. So let's hit that I key, bring it all back up. So we could do another salvo, right? Here's an HQ unit that's really out in the open. I'm not really super concerned with it. So let's hit 1, T, shut this down, hit space. Let's watch this incoming Grodd. Ooh, that's an HQ unit with some tanks. Let's see what happens. We could actually do an SU-25 on this position too. Alright, so this area is going to get absolutely decimated. We have Sioux coming with bombs. We have a Humvee unit moving in. We have a Grodd. We have an artillery strike. I'm not sure where that Grodd attack is, though. Maybe they're reloading right now. I think they have more than one salvo, but I'm not sure. There's that incoming. Here's R. Flares out, flares out, flares out. Bombs away. Perfect little hit. There's some artillery on that recon unit. That HQ unit is basically dealt with. Ooh, we have a massive, massive, massive front forming right there. All right, let's see what's going on with this Grodd. Why is he moving? You don't need to move. Are you out of ammo? He's not out of ammo, so let's hit T. He should be well within the range to do this. Let's shut them down. Let's just shut this whole thing down. All right, let's watch this battle play out. All right, we have an artillery strike. We have a Grodd missile strike. This is going to be an absolute nightmare for this unit over here. Are they going to retreat? Smokes out. New task force. They're already in full retreat. There's that Grodd missile strike. Absolutely outstanding. Soviet artillery on full display. This is a heavy artillery unit. We haven't even gotten to see these T-62s. The T-62s do have the Shrika barrel launch ATGMs, which is something I really wanted to check out, which is probably why we're completely dominating this battlefield at this moment in time. So we can check out our new task force. Our defense is going just fine. We could get some air up. I'm not overly concerned about having air. These engineers aren't super necessary. We could get more artillery on the battlefield and just keep shutting down their assaults. We get T-64s with those, and then we get more T-62s. Let's get some more T-62s on this battlefield. We could play with the T-80s if we really wanted to, but these T-62s are really good. So let's call them in. Let's hit space to continue. What can we actually call in, though? So we get more oh, these are T-62Ms. So let's reinforce over here. Let's get another Grodd up. This unit's out of ammo, so let's retreat him. He needs a retrofit. Or refit, not retrofit. I think we're doing like a really good job with our defense. I'm not super like upset about it. It's going like super smooth. I mean, they can't really penetrate these lines. I mean, obviously if the AI did have a bit of intelligence, it would push this really weak side where they'd have like some BMPs to deal with, as well as a small anti-tank. But I mean, we can even reinforce that if we really wanted to use some T-62s over here. Like, where's our T-62s? What are they doing? They're just sitting here chilling. They have plenty of ammo. They have ATGMs. There's nothing to be concerned about. The AI is kind of just sporadically using its combined arms effort, and it's just not really penetrating our front lines. And I don't foresee it doing so. It would need a really, really good combined arms effort to kind of get past us right now. Honestly, it would have to either break this defense, which is super challenging, especially with these trees. There's no real cover. So once he enters this area, all these anti-tanks just shut everything down. So it's a really challenging map for the AI without a lot of artillery. So playing it on easy is probably not the best. Medium, you might have a more enjoyable time. But as the difficulty goes up, it just brings in a lot more artillery. Ideally, I would like to see reduced artillery and just more focus on armor and mechanized units and have them try and break it that way, especially with some NATO air power. I just don't like the general artillery slugfest that kind of start to show up sometimes with these games, especially when you increase the difficulty. It just becomes like a hunt and peck kind of gameplay. All right, there's our next Grodd missile system on the battlefield. Right, I mean, honestly, we could easily break apart this defense if we were on the attacker side. We'd just shut down this hillside, and once this hillside's gone, I mean, that's a lot of resources right there. I mean, even if this recon unit and these BTRs, I mean, they do have anti-tank capabilities, but I mean, it's shoulder fired missiles, not so much guns. So I mean, you just suppress the infantry and then you just break through. It's not overly challenging. This would be a much more difficult side. I mean, there's not really like a layered defense going on right here. It's all just frontal. And here comes the AI. Here comes some artillery. And that's a good little artillery strike. I mean, that's a good position. That's an on-call artillery strike because we don't have the question mark in the back line. And we could just call in like a Sue bombing run. So they're on the flank, so everything's going to get... So this is a real bad situation for us. So we have our BTR company right here. This artillery strike's kind of shutting everything down. This is... What is that? That's... Maybe they're Abrams. Not sure. But we really need to rotate these guys. They're going to undig once they do that. These guys are really strong. This anti-tank should easily be able to engage that. We're going to pull this unit back. I really wish R was reversed. And I wish the commands would show up during the pause phase. Like, right? If you want to, like... Oh, that's not ours. That's why. Alright. I mean, this guy's going to have a bad time. I mean, this is already done right here. Here comes the enemy. What are those? We don't know because we can't find them. Rocket strike. I mean, they got through. There goes our bombs. And that's done. These guys just fall back a little bit. I mean, don't just sit there in the artillery and just take it. This guy needs a refit anyway. That was a good effort by them. I mean, like we said, like in order to break us, they need to use a lot of artillery, and I think they were really successful in that, right? So we're going to pull back all our BTRs right now. There's no reason for them to be up on the battlefield. They're going to pop smoke, they're going to pull back, and then we're going to get them back on the battlefield. Where's our Grod system? We do have a Grod. He is hitting a bit deep right there with that strike. I don't really know why. There's no reason for us to reinforce that. We want to defend forward so we have like terrain to fall back to. And then if we kind of lose all of this, it's a bit unfortunate because this is a really, could easily be a good fortified position. So we kind of want to make sure this stays online. And we can bring another set of T-62s up if we really, really wanted to. So let's just do that.
New task force available.
We have a new task force. I'm not going to go too much into this task force. We might just bring up some Hinds. We could check out the BMP-2s. Ooh, that looks really cool. The VDV BMDs. Let's pull those in. BMP-2s. Where's our VDVs? So here's our BMDs, infantry fighting vehicles. They do have some anti-tank capabilities. We're going to put them out in the open, though. I think that's really fair. And these guys are a bit experienced as well, so we could actually reinforce this position up here. Maybe we'll go through and kind of just create like a U and just so we can attack them on their flanks. And we have a good little strike going on right here. This is all right. So this is a very weak position if everything doesn't go right. So let's hit space. Let's hit I. Actually, let's unhit I. Let's hit 1. Hit T. I wish the bring the screen on was a bit more responsive. Here comes our bombing run. There's that 1 bomb. 2 bombs, suppressed, ATGMs. Right, they're flying through our anti-air. We have Grod missile strike coming on. Ooh, we actually destroyed that one. Looks like we have some M1s back here. Oh, our Grod missile strike is off target. There's nothing we can do about that. But these guys overall are just going to ooh, there we go. Look at that absolute nightmare, like being on the other end of that. Look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 70 missiles, ATGMs just raining on you. Those M1s are really strong. They are not caving at all. Ooh. These M1s did not break. Where's our T-62 at? We need to like do something about these. Try and shut them absolutely down. They're shutting down this anti-tank. Our T-62s are really struggling to break that armor. That's a really strong unit. Let's see what happens. Alright, so we have artillery, we have a salvo. This is all frontal armor. They're not even dug in. So there's some artillery falling on them. More anti-tank rounds. Ooh, that just got deflected. Absolutely the worst. They suppressed our... Oh my god. So they have an anti-air unit somewhere up here too. Right there with them. That's just not good for us. We'll just straight artillery strike them here in a moment. We'll shut all of this down. This just is not going to be a good time for them here in a moment. What can we bring on? Let's just get another ground missile system up. There goes that salvo. I mean, that should shut them down, and we're just going to shut... I just don't really agree with this. There's an anti-air unit there. There's the M1s, and those M1s are just really strong. They should try and retreat here in a moment. We have an artillery strike in 5 seconds. They're just like tanking everything. No pun intended. We do have a little unit going on right there. I'm not super concerned. They're finally retreating. Man, that was a good little fight on their part. I feel like this tank didn't do anything. We're gonna refit him. We're gonna get some... I don't have anything I can put there, so I gotta wait.
5 minutes remaining.
We'll put a BTR group up there, a company. You need to like... Is that us? You gotta dismount, dude. Man, just retreat. I don't know what you're doing, but just stop. I don't know what that unit was doing. He was just like having a wonderful time. So we got like a lot of fronts forming right here. There's only 5 minutes left. We should easily shut this down. All right, we have a T-62 doing an absolute bunch of work. We have a BMP dismounted. They should just trade blow for blow. Can you just stop? Stop and face. Recon unit's going to be dealt with fairly quickly. This tank platoon T-55 is going to deal with them. More artillery. This guy... Can't do much with him, unfortunate. This guy needs a retreat. That's a really good position for them. These guys are going to rally over here for no reason. There you go, rally. Lots of artillery right now. Can we really reallocate a lot of these forces? Not really. I'm going to put this T-62M back up on this tree line. These are our BMDs. I think these would do really... There's really no safe way to get them anywhere. I mean, I guess they're going to move forward to that area. I don't really agree with it, but at least it puts them in the battle. I don't know why they're like so excited about just artillerying nothing. It kind of bothers me a little bit with the AI. Like, right, there's no reason to keep hammering this position. Like, I mean, maybe it thinks that like there would be units there, I guess. But it seems like it's prioritizing the objective. And this whole front line's kind of falling apart over here. Super not good for us. Get some T-62s back in action. These BMP-2s are going to go over here. I think this is a really good position for them. And we'll try and set up maybe just right here. Does this block line of sight? A little bit. So we can set them up in that position and kind of just deal with it. I don't think anything's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. Let's see what happens. I mean, there's still this one random unit over here we could just deal with. I don't feel like he's super important. We do have 2 Grods right here. This one needs to retreat because he's completely out of ammo. This one needs to be assigned to Control 1. Let's go back down to 1 speed because we have a good little front forming. And this is going to break right here. We have nothing absolutely good going on right here. We do have some units trying to break that front line. These units are going to dismount, and they're going to move forward. We might actually lose this objective, which is unfortunate, but maybe that artillery is going to be really beneficial for us. We're going to see here. That guy's out of ammo. No reason for it. We have 1 minute left. That T-62's got to go. These guys need to go. We do have a lot of forces moving up. We should easily be able to re-secure it. These Grod missile strikes take so long. Are you getting ready to shoot? No, you're not doing anything. Let's go. We shut that down.
1 minute remaining.
It would be nice if that Grod would come online. That would be really helpful for us. You guys just need to face forward. Oh, it must like be out of his range. I guess let's move him forward. It doesn't feel like it would be out of his range. Let's see what we can do with this. That infantry platoon is going to be a bit challenging. This guy's going to be a bit challenging. They're trying to push this. 14 seconds left. Let's see what happens. We're not going to lose it. They're not going to take it. Here comes that broad missile strike. And I mean, this is like already done. These are M1s, so these are like late game tanks. A bit challenging. And that's it. Dead 45, so a good little 2-to-1 wounded. They really did deal with a lot of the brunt. Their artillery didn't come online until later, and it was kind of just hammering like the same spots. So if we like zoom out and just take a look, the artillery really favored this position for almost no reason, because we were like forward right here. We weren't really occupying this area, so kind of confused with that. They did favor this a lot. They did start hitting the flanks a little bit later on, and then they did try and come through these like little lines of sight. They didn't want to really mess with the force. There was like a AAA there. They never artilleried right there, which makes no sense because that seems like a good position to hit. Here's our Grodd missile systems like absolutely at work, and then there's the enemy. What looks to be, are those Harriers? It doesn't really let me look at the enemy aircraft that well. No, maybe. Oh no, those are Harriers. Alright, like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, guys.